Hey there, it's Kelly Cohen, and if you're watching this, you're about to hear the story of how I went from being a doormat in my own life to taking control of my future. This isn't just about money or a messy divorce. It's about finding my voice, honoring my dad's legacy, and learning what it means to put myself first. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let me take you through the wild ride that's been my life over the past decade. I'm 38, a pharmacist, a daughter, and, well, I used to be a wife. But we'll get to that. I grew up in a small town, the only child of two doctors who ran a respected clinic. My parents poured love into me like it was their full-time job. They hoped I'd follow in their footsteps and become a doctor, but I chose pharmacy instead. After college, I landed a solid job at a big pharmaceutical company in New York. It wasn't the path they dreamed for me, but they supported me anyway. That's just who they were: selfless, loving, always in my corner. 10 years ago, my world turned upside down when my mom died in a car accident. It was sudden, brutal, and it left me and my dad shattered. I was drowning in grief, but Jack, my boyfriend at the time, was my lifeline. We'd met through a mutual friend, and he had this easy charm. Nothing flashy, just steady. He'd listen for hours as I cried about mom, hold my hand, and tell me we'd get through it together. 2 years later, he proposed, and I said yes without hesitation. I thought he was my forever. When I told my dad about the engagement, his face lit up. "Kelly, I've seen how Jack's been there for you," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "Thank you, Jack. Please take care of my girl." Jack stood tall, looked my dad in the eye, and promised, "I will make her happy." Standing there, wrapped in Jack's arms, I felt like the luckiest woman alive. But then came the first red flag. We went to meet Jack's mom to share the news. She was something else. Divorced from Jack's dad, she wore loud makeup and had this vibe like she was sizing me up. "Marriage, huh?" she said, eyeing me like I was a used car. "She's plain, Jack, and older. Couldn't you find someone younger, prettier?" I was stunned, but Jack jumped in, not to defend me, but to brag. "Mom, Kelly works at M Pharmaceuticals. Her dad's a doctor with his own practice." Her face changed instantly, like she'd just won the lottery. "Oh, Jack, why didn't you say so? That changes everything." "Welcome to the family, Kelly." I forced a smile, but something felt off. Jack didn't talk about my heart or my character. He leaned on my job, my family's status. It stung, but I brushed it off. Love makes you blind, right? As a wedding gift, my dad gave us an apartment in a luxury building in New York City. I was over the moon. "Jack, this is our home," I told him, picturing cozy nights and new memories. "Let's make it ours, happy and peaceful." He grinned, and for a moment, I thought we were on the same page. But marriage has a way of showing you who someone really is. Jack, it turned out, was useless around the house. He couldn't cook, didn't know how to use the washing machine, and had zero interest in learning. Dirty dishes piled up, trash overflowed, and I was the one cleaning up after him while juggling my job. At first, I tried to be patient. We were newlyweds, after all. But by our second year, I was exhausted. Work was demanding, and coming home to a sink full of dishes and Jack sprawled on the couch playing video games pushed me to my limit. I sat him down one night, heart pounding. "Jack, I need help. I can't do all the chores alone." I laid it all out, how tired I was, how unfair it felt. He just shrugged. "I'm tired from work too, Kelly. You're better at this stuff. It makes sense for you to handle it." I was floored. No apology, no effort, just dismissal. But I swallowed my frustration and kept going, thinking I could fix it, fix us. Then there was Jack's mom. Oh boy, she had this knack for making everything about money. For Mother's Day, I sent her a beautiful scarf and carnations picked out with care from a department store. She called me, fuming. "This isn't a luxury brand, Kelly. Do you think I'd wear something so cheap?" I tried to explain it was high quality, but she wasn't having it. When I told Jack, he didn't back me up. "Just do what she wants," he said, like it was no big deal. From then on, she demanded cash, and Jack handed it over without question. Our savings started shrinking, and I was dipping into my personal account just to keep us afloat. By our 5th year of marriage, Jack's mom was practically living with us, always with her hand out. I'd come home to find her lounging in my living room, complaining about something new she needed. Jack never said no. I tried to stay calm. She was his mom, and he'd been there for me when mom died. But it was wearing me down. I was working, cleaning, cooking, and now bankrolling her endless demands. Then came the hardest blow. 8 years into our marriage, my dad called me out of the blue. I hadn't seen him much. Life was a blur of work and chores, but his voice was heavy. We met, and he dropped the bombshell. He had terminal cancer, untreatable. I broke down, sobbing like a kid. He stroked my hair, just like when I was little, and said, "Kelly, this is fate. Let's accept it." I couldn't. Not my my rock. My life became a juggling act: work, chores, and hospital visits. Jack, he barely acknowledged it. "That's tough, Kelly. Do your best," he said, like it was someone else's problem. He visited Dad once, and that was it. I was too busy caring for my dad to fight with Jack. But one day, as Dad lay in his hospital bed, he asked, "Kelly, how's your marriage?" I froze. I didn't want to lie, but I couldn't tell him the truth, that Jack was lazy, his mom was a leech, and I was miserable. He saw it in my eyes, took my hand, and said, "You don't have to endure, Kelly. Think about your happiness. You won't struggle after I'm gone." I cried so hard I couldn't breathe. 3 months later, Dad passed away. The grief was crushing, but I threw myself into planning his funeral. Jack didn't lift a finger to help. Friends and family showed up to honor Dad, and even Jack and his mom made an appearance, though I could tell they were just going through the motions. The day after the funeral, I got a call from Dad's lawyer about his estate. I met with him, still numb from grief, and learned Dad had left me over $3 million after taxes. He wasn't just a doctor, he'd been a savvy real estate investor. I was overwhelmed, grateful, but also terrified of managing that kind of money. Back home, I spread the inheritance documents on my desk, trying to process it all. I was so exhausted I dozed off on the couch. When I woke up, I heard Jack and his mom laughing. They were holding the papers, my papers, without my permission. "Jack, when did you get here?" I asked, confused. He just grinned and, "Well done, Kelly." I saw the documents in his hand and snapped, "Don't read those without asking." But his mom chimed in, all giddy, "$3 million, we're set for life." I was floored. Then Jack said, casual as anything, "I've decided we'll split it between me and Mom." I felt like I'd been slapped. My dad had just died, and they were treating his legacy like their personal ATM. Jack even called him that doddering old man. I blurted out, "Are you talking about my dad?" They ignored me, chattering about new cars and shopping sprees. I was shaking, furious, but I forced a smile. "Sure, use the money as you please." They didn't catch the sarcasm. From that moment, everything changed. Jack quit his job, convinced the inheritance was his. His mom practically moved in, and they started spending like they were on a reality show. Luxury bags, dinners at 3-star restaurants, trips. They burned through our joint account, draining my $100,000 in savings. When I protested, Jack laughed it off. "$3 million's coming, right? This is nothing." I warned him I'd stop the inheritance process, but he didn't listen. Then they took off for Hawaii, leaving me behind. Alone in that apartment, my dad's gift, I made a decision. I was done being their maid, their bank, their doormat. I changed the locks, moved the remaining $50,000 from our joint account to mine, and filed for divorce. When they got back, tanned and decked out in Aloha shirts, they found the door locked. Jack pounded on it, yelling, "Why won't it open?" I stayed calm. I changed the locks. "Let's talk at the cafe nearby." At the cafe, they were furious. "Hand over the keys," Jack demanded. I slid the divorce papers across the table. "There's no need for that. You both need to leave." They were stunned. Jack's mom sputtered, "Why has it come to this?" I laid it out. Their spending, their disrespect, their betrayal. Jack smirked, thinking he had me. "Fine, divorce me. But I get half the inheritance, right? Marital property and all." I couldn't help but laugh. "You're wrong, Jack. Inheritance isn't marital property, it's mine. Their faces fell as they checked their phones, realizing I was right. The 50,000 I'd moved was part of the marital split, but the 3 million? Untouchable. Jack begged, Kelly, I have no job, no savings. How am I supposed to live? I looked him in the eye. Take responsibility for your actions. I'll never forget how you treated me. We're done. I walked out of that cafe feeling lighter than I had in years. The divorce went smoothly. Jack and his mom blew through the 50,000 and racked up debt from their lavish spending. Last I heard, Jai Howard, they're living in a rundown apartment, working nonstop to pay off bills. Me? I sold the condo I shared with Jack and moved into Dad's old apartment. I still work as a pharmacist, but with Dad's inheritance, I'm financially secure. More than that, I'm free. Every day I carry Dad's love with me. He taught me to value myself, to fight for my happiness. I'm ready to start fresh, to live a life that's mine, peaceful, joyful, and on my terms. Thanks for listening, and if you're out there feeling stuck, let my story be a reminder. You deserve better. Go claim it.